Hey guys, thanks for checking out the channel. I don't even know what you really want to call it. Everything. If you're here, you're searching for something, and hopefully I can help you. There's something here on my channel that might help you in that right direction. I don't know all the fancy terms for all of this, and nor do I have all the right words and all that stuff. I don't understand it from a spiritual side or from a paranormal side or psychic medium side of the. I mean, I have so much to learn when it comes to all this, but I just wanted to talk about when I started this channel. I went on YouTube and I searched for weeks on YouTube for different videos, and there was lots of videos that explained kind of what was happening in a level or at a level that made zero sense to me, just because I didn't know I don't know all that stuff. I don't know the importance of grounding and I don't understand none of it. So when I was started making videos, it was just because I wanted to capture what it was like for someone in the very, very beginning, you know, and like literally day to day, because when this process starts, it evolves so fast, so in so many different areas and directions and so on and so forth. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, most people call it an awakening of some sort, depending on your background, I guess. Some people say it's more spiritual. Some people, it's more just kind of natural, just getting into the connecting with life, basically, and using different ways. And I don't know any of that. I really don't. I don't know how to explain any of that. All I know is that I can compare it to a spiritual awakening, just because I had one of those. I experienced one of those as a kid, a young kid. I grew up in this deep South where it's very religious. So I went to church a lot as a kid, three times a week. Most spring breaks was spent in vacation Bible school. Most summers at least had a 2 week summer church trip. So it was very much ingrained in my early life, and I remember having a spiritual awakening like that when and coming to the realization. But what is similar to me is what I remembered about my spiritual awakening, even as a child, was this overwhelming feeling of acceptance and belief that death wasn't real. I mean, that's what it came down to. Like we say, it's we give all these names and religions, and we organize it and structure it in all these different ways, and it doesn't matter where you go in the world. Like, it's structured in a similar, but just using something else. But they're all to try and keep you connected with the fact that there's an afterlife. I mean, if you think about it, that's why you're going to church. That's why you're praying. That's why, you know, it's it's to stay connected to that fact. The fact that one day, you know, your life here on this earth will end, and you believe that you go somewhere else, not just in the ground. So I never understood, though, from a religious standpoint, being raised, that was the only way. That never made sense to me, because we created that. So how could we possibly know that? That's the only way. And as I traveled, as I was growing up and started going overseas a lot and gotten to spend time in other cultures, I quickly realized that if I'd have been born there and raised there, I'd believe there what they believe. I mean, it's kind of it is, or how it was for the longest time, for the history of us on this planet, for the most part, from the best we can tell. But not anymore. Not anymore. Not anymore. Now you can connect with someone on the other side of the planet with all you need is a cell phone, and you can connect to anyone you want. Anyone in 40 years behind you, I, no amount of distance. Anyone on the other side of the planet, you can just reach out. So that's the reason I think why, like, you hear a lot of talk about there being an abundance of awakenings happening. They're just happening at a much alarming pace. And I don't know if that means something like bigger out there that I just am completely unaware of yet, and no idea, Or if it's just the fact that we're all, as human beings now, connected to each other, we can reach out to each other. We can find our people. We can find the things that are, like they're literally at our fingertips. So I would think with access to that kind of information and it being able to spread so instantly, just so instantly, that of course you're just going to have this an abundance of awakenings. I know, like just in my circle alone, just since like I came to terms with mine and decided I'm going to talk about it as openly, as freely as I want, and I am who I am, and I'm just going to go with it, and I'm going to take whatever comes back from it and go with that, and I'm just going to you know, and just in a matter of weeks, like not even a month, I mean, just a couple of weeks, like the amount of people that I have been able to, like, just by talking to in my immediate kind of group, like, no, it's not for everybody, and it's not even for the majority, it is for a small percentage, but that percentage is significant, like in my case, I think I've like really bonded and connected with probably close to 20 people in less than a month. Some of those relationships go back 30 years. Some of them are family and go back even further. Other ones are brand new and just came into my life literally a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So there's no rules to it. The one thing I've learned more than anything through all of this is that reality is just flat, man. It's a blank canvas, you know? It's almost like our brain is trapped in a box. No light gets in there, no sound gets in there. It can't hear, it can't see, it can't taste, it can't do anything. All it can do is interpret signals, right? From our eyes, our taste buds, our pain down in our legs, like all that information is transported to our brain electronically. That's how it reads everything. So whatever you feed it is what it's going to believe because it's trapped in there. It can't make another opinion. It can't take in the other information. You see what I'm saying? So whatever you're feeding it, and wrap your head around, it's going to become reality, right? It's going to become reality. You're going to see what you want to see, and you're going to hear what you want to hear, based on all those perceptions and ignorances and biases and fears and all those things. All those things make us look at things a certain way and don't allow us to look at them in an objective way at all, And you can prove this to yourself very, very easily. And that's pick your least favorite subject, like let's take politics, for example. If you're a diehard Republican or a diehard Democrat, can you honestly have the debate from the opposite side? Because you should be able to. You should be able to see both sides to any, to any situation objectively. You should be able to look at the facts of both sides and decide for yourself what you think, what you feel, If you're diehard one or the other, you're totally being led by your preconceived ideas and thoughts and fears and all those things. That's why you're so diehard. That's why you find people, and it's so divisive now if you look at it, that, I mean, people are just pro-Trump or anti-Trump, right? Never Trump. It's either one or, and you can think, well, policy's always been that way. And it has to a degree. I mean, that's part of it, I think. But you have to admit it, but during the Obama years, it took a very, very, sharp turn, man, as far as you were either on one side or the other. And there was no right in the middle line. There was no being for one majority of the time and then seeing the other side a little bit at a time, or vice versa, or switching around. Because that's the way I am. Like, I've never seen, like, they're politicians to me. Like, politicians don't have a skill except to talk. Think about it. Like, politicians get together as a group of buddies and come up with a bunch of ideas. Or like 5 of them, they get together and they come up with a bunch of ideas that they all agree on. And then they decide, all right, who can present this idea the best and make it the most believable to the masses? All right, our buddy Bob can. Well, then Bob becomes a candidate. Not because he's this great leader And he's no better than any of the five could have been held the office and did the job. But they got to get the job first, and he's the best candidate to apply for it. He meets all the current criteria. He meets all the social, you know, it's just all bullshit. That's all I'm saying. It's all crap, man. It's all crap. So when people ask me what's the first thing they could do to like start off an awakening, is it like you got to come to terms with all that. That everything you know and think and believe might possibly be wrong, and most likely is. Completely wrong. Not even just a little bit, but completely wrong. And you got to be willing to figure that out and be honest with yourself, and then tell yourself, like when you discover that you were wrong, be willing to accept that, admit that, take that on, and then move forward with it. There ain't nothing wrong with figuring out shit. Nothing. It doesn't matter that for 35 years you've been swearing one way or another. Don't matter. That's what an awakening is. An awakening is an immediate shift in ideology. I mean, like one day you believe ABC, the very next day you believe CBA. And then you got to figure out why. How's that possible? What happened to make that possible? And you got to be willing to look at it like objectively and from every angle. And you got to be able to put your ego aside and just look at it just as a person, man. Just as an outsider looking in, not connected personally to the situation. You got to be able to withdraw from it, make an objective decision. Like I learned that like my years in the military, because when like I was a bomb technician, when you're working on a bomb, like you got to know all the steps, dude. Like you almost got to anticipate what's coming and what's going, and you can't go in there with preconceived ideas. You're gonna get someone hurt. You're not gonna feel it because you're up there doing it, but you can get somebody else hurt. And that's a big problem. So you've got to be able to have an objective mind for any if you want to make any progress in anything, because you got to be willing to accept and look at your faults as much as you are willing to look at your gifts. And you got to deal with that stuff. So for anyone that's searching for anything, you got to start there. You got to start with tearing yourself down and tearing down your beliefs and being willing to challenge the most ingrained thoughts you have in your mind. You got to be able to challenge those. Doesn't mean you're going to end up changing them in the end. You might not, but you got to be willing to. You got to be willing to make that happen if it comes to that. If you're not willing to do it, then you're still stuck for a while. And I was stuck for a long, long time. And, so that was about it. Just my little rant for right now. I think it has a lot to do with some of the things I was reading this morning, and I hear people, and you've got to get to step one before you can even think about anything else, and that's just the basic understanding and acceptance that most likely everything you've ever been told, you've been lied to, brainwashed, misled, and you did a lot of it to yourself. It's just how it goes. So hopefully you'll watch a video or two, pick out something that kind of jumps you. Again, don't watch them from the fact that I'm not trying to talk about my own struggle and get someone to feel empathetic or sympathetic or sorry or whatever for that. No. I talk about it just because I want people to hopefully, or someone that can relate to it on that level. Because if they can relate to it, then they know that they won't have a hard time believing that I can help them with it, if that makes sense. So that's it for now. Appreciate it. Talk to you again soon. Bye.